I'm talking about. When we find that God has placed us in an area, He gives an abundant grace in that area for you to work in. Oh, I'm talking to somebody this morning. I've not got into my message yet. This is just that one verse that He gave me this morning. But I want you to see, a lot of times we're going toward a direction that He's not purposed. Even though there is grace, but there's a struggle. And if there's a struggle, you need to check it out and look at it. Let's look at something right here. Go to 1 Peter, please. 1 Peter. Is it raining? It's raining in here right now, too. Feel the Spirit. Chapter 2. The great book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 1. Now this is actually lays out right here the whole structure that he's doing for the 40 days here for our church. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile, all hypocrisies and envies, and all evil speaking. How many has he tore up this week? And stopped you in your tracks and said, wait just a minute. Don't you say that. You need to be honest. As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the Word, that you may grow thereby. If so be you have tasted that the Lord is gracious. Can I tell you this morning? If you have tasted that the Lord is gracious, this restructuring, you'll not fight and you'll not fight it, but you will move toward learning. You'll move toward Him doing something miraculous in your life. You'll move toward His purpose and not your purpose. When we understand this, we grow in grace. And this is where the church is coming to today. We're coming to the place right now, this church is coming to the place that it is going to move in grace and that abounds. We're going to move in grace that abounds because we're finding a direction and being reestablished to a direction and a cause that God has called us to. Let's look a little further. To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of God and precious. Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God by Jesus Christ. Spiritual. A spiritual house. A spiritual house. Do you realize I can get around a person for just a minute or two and I can tell you what kind of home they have? It doesn't take but just a minute. I can tell you whether it's a spiritual home or whether it is a home of turmoil. If it is a spiritual house that is being built, then you won't talk to them long until it won't be just murmuring and complaining. It'll be about how good God is. Yes, I've walked through some things, but let me tell you about how good God is. I'm talking this morning about restructuring. When you're talking to someone now, in this 40 days, you'll not go along with them if they're murmuring and complaining. You'll not go along with them if what they are saying is not right. You'll step up and build a spiritual house and say, you know, I used to be just like that right there. But I want to tell you something. I've got a God that has brought me to a place of grace and more grace and grace abounding. Everywhere I go, I'm blessed. I'll go out here as long as I'm in His purpose. I am blessed. Yes, there's problems. Everybody's got problems. You're to walk in my shoes sometimes, and I don't want to walk in yours. You understand? Everybody's got problems. But I've got a God. Who is He, Wes? I've got a God that is indescribable. Let's go a little further. A holy priesthood. You see, there's a priesthood and there's a holy priesthood. You see, we don't like the word holy today, because when that word is spoke, it automatically comes to us that we got to lay some things down. It automatically comes to us that all of a sudden we realize that we can't do anymore what we used to do. There is a holy priesthood that can offer up in the wilderness and in the tabernacle. They had to offer up sacrifices that was holy and acceptable. The main sacrifice has already done that. He was the high priest and the sacrifice. But even as that, He said, be ye holy as I am holy. Be ye separate. We've got to where in the body of Christ today, if you don't have a badge on that says you're a Christian, nobody will know it. Now I want to tell you something. I want to be able to have my jacket off and my shirt tail out and to be able for everybody to know when I step in, I'm a preacher of the gospel. You're not going to talk to me but about 5 minutes until we talk about Christ, or we ain't talking. Do you understand something? I don't know anything else. I've got to program myself. I've got to restructure myself. I don't care. I might be in a place that I'm not wearing a sticker. But I still need to be recognized as His servant. They still need to see Christ in me. A holy priesthood. Why is that? I can't run. Do you understand in this? And this is the one thing that the reason most Christians don't make it, or they don't, what I mean, I say don't make it, they drop out of church, or they're always trying to find something. And the whole thing is they don't see, they don't recognize their calling or their purpose, and they're always seeking after something instead of discovering. You see, let me let you understand. It's not your choice. It is not your choice where you go and what you do.